Hey, what's going on, everybody? Good to see you guys back for another installment of the Road to NBA 2K19 series. Since our last episode, I played two more games. Both games that came off the bench in the same role as normal. In this Oakland game, I didn't play well. But as a team, we did get the win against a squad that we should beat, and then we also had a win against Central Florida. This game I did much better, played more efficiently, only missed one shot, and Mitchell Drew put up 23. But now that we have those two games out of the way, we can finally make our collegiate debut here at University of Texas. Shaka Smart's been running a lot of 2 point guard rotations recently, and he kind of alluded without even telling me that he wanted to see me in the starting lineup. So he's giving me that chance in our next game against Texas Christian University. There's my teammates' totals on the year, and I've actually had some discussion with Deshaun lately. He's been, slowly getting into the offense that Coach K has up, but he also called me saying that he has a broken hand. He's been playing through this since the season even started, so that's why his numbers are a little lower than you'd expect. He's had an injury that he's actually kept concealed this whole year, but he's finally come out and talked to the Duke trainers about it. Then I got in touch with Donovan a little bit. He's telling me how much fun he's having at NC State, and he's quickly becoming a tough 1-2 punch inside between him and Austin Womack, who's one of the top scorers in the ACC at 12 points per game. Donovan doing really good in his short time so far at NC State. Now, we finally look towards our first collegiate start. It's about time. This actually came a little bit earlier than I expected, and I'm sure the UT faithful, the fans, and everyone who watches our games didn't expect it to be this soon either for me to get my first start. I wasn't that heavily recruited out of high school. It wasn't until the end, of course, whenever I got looks from major schools. But here I am, quickly becoming a key piece in trying to regain momentum here early on in the season as we win the jump ball and we go to work against TCU's 2-3 zone. There seemed to be a little bit of defensive miscommunication here on the first possession. Two guys come out to the perimeter to try to guard me, so it's just an easy little dump off inside. Now we quickly fall behind early. As you see, we're down 11-4. Another slow start for our offense, unfortunately. But now it's a 3-on-2, and I try to get some momentum back in our favor, throwing a crisp behind the back pass, fitting it into coverage there. Chris Hines making the first one, but Shaka Smart wants to go with a little bit of a different lineup. He wants to try Mitchell Drew at the point, as I've been playing point guard so far this game, but our offense just hasn't been there. You see, I try to help out, but it leaves my matchup wide open. Even though I try to contest, my man jays me, making it a 16-7 game, but quite ambitious there as I throw a full court pass up to Robert Saunders, who finishes on the layup. 16-9 game now, 7:30 left. But finally, Chris Hines or somebody showing some fight as Hines goes full extension to save that ball, but unfortunately I could not capitalize there. Wish I hit that one, as I don't reward Chris Hines for diving out of bounds actually to get that one, as that leads to another open three for this TCU team that's red hot to begin this game. 9-19 game. These are games right here that we should win. Out of conference games versus a bit of a smaller opponent, but I get my man. I lose him off of the dribble drive there, throwing it out to Isaac Ashley, who gets the friendly bounce. 6.5 now left to play, 19-11 game. I see that coming from a mile away. My man coming off the screen, and it's a simple 2-on-1, but I can't convert. Inside though, Moses Anaganye converts with my favorite play in basketball personally, is the tip-in. That's always been my favorite play in basketball. Unfortunately, foul trouble would be a little bit of a issue in this game for me personally. That's 2 fouls here in the first half, as I would have to make my way to the bench after this one. After a pretty underwhelming first half for me, I did not record a point, not just for me but for my team. UT did not play well offensively in that first half, only 23 points as a squad. Drew's not on the board yet either. Albert Ford didn't record any points, so we needed to change this around and fast. A little bit of hot potato inside. I try to set up Robert Saunders, and I really want to, and I see he has the position on the inside. So I'm saying, hey, take that layup. I'm not going to stop feeding you. 31-27 game. The ball reversal goes to a TCU shooter. That one will rim out. 31-27 game as I quickly get it up to Chris Hines, who's slashing. He's more of a spot-up shooter, but he proves he can do both things. And 33-31 game, another missed shot. This time I grab the rebound, and now I'm looking to run the floor once again. I stop on a dime. Back and forth game. Kick it out to Hines. Back to me. Instead, I want to reset. And I have a big man on me. I want to take it, but once again, two guys coming out to try to guard me on the perimeter leaves a man wide open. That's 5 assists for me on the game. That free throw rim out. TCU starting to cool down a little bit, letting us get back in the game. Finally, right? I want to pick with Isaac Ashley. Pick wasn't very effective, but it still lets me get enough room to put up a shot, and I get fouled, and I make the jump shot. So that's an and one right there. Finally, we have the lead in this game. 10 minutes left to play in the game. But if Coach Shaka Smart wants to keep me in the lineup, that leaves a little bit of a dilemma for him as well. As you can see right here, Chris Hines falling for that pump fake. He's too much of a liability on defense as I quickly throw it up to Ashley and get the assist. But anyway, you have Albert Ford, who's a good defender, and he's bulky. He can play good defense, but he ruins the spacing on offense. But then you have Chris Hines, who's a really good spot-up shooter and spaces the floor, but he's not very good on defense. He's a liability, but look at this pass. Steve Nash CP3-esque right there as I floated over the defense, tying up the game again. This one, nobody counts for me. I blow the layup, but I do get it back, and nobody counts for me whenever I bring it back out. I have a free lane to do whatever I want for whatever reason. I'm not really sure. But anyway, only 5 points. Now we're at 3:15 left in the game. 53-52 ball game. Mitchell Drew with a clutch three. No good though. Mitchell Drew normally makes good on those opportunities. Now we need to get back on D, but Mitchell lets the inside dish and layup to go, giving TCU the lead. Now it'd be 56-53. Another basket would go for them. And now we're trying to draw up a play for Chris Hines. And that works to perfection. Chris Hines tying up the game with a colossal jump shot. Now I have another center on me, but the trap comes. So I'm forced to bring it back out. I'm forced to go to Mitchell Drew, who, guess what? Puts the whole defense on skates. Shakes one, crosses over another. I cannot believe my eyes when I saw Drew pull this one out of his bag and finish over top of the defense. I think the bench's reaction speaks for itself on that one. Everyone hype about that, giving us the lead, 58-56, and a steal. I'm trying to take it all the way. I'm trying to ice the game, the floater. Unsuccessful. That would pretty much sum up my day shooting from the field. But we do get another chance. This time, I don't take it all the way. I'm slowing it up. And eventually on this same possession, I go back to Chris Hines. This time he's not open off that pick that got him that three. But hey, Mitchell Drew's open for that three this time. But he comes up short. We need to stop on defense to maintain this lead. 60 seconds left in the game. But their shooting guard gets open and tries a bomb, which would go unsuccessful. But unfortunately, all season long, offensive rebounding, letting up offensive rebounds, I should say, has been just such a struggle for our big men. We did not get a score on that possession. And I foul a jump shooter. Shaka Smart is livid right now that I would foul a jump shooter. They would make 2 of 2. We would let the clock tick down to about 9 seconds left. And we want to run a play for Mitchell Drew again. But look at this. TCU's coming out in a 2-3 zone. We can't really set a screen for him in a zone like this. I'm trying to commit some late game heroics right here. I have the big man on me, and I floated up over top of him. Only 7 points in the game, but these 2 points right here were the biggest for us all game long. As this would force overtime, and 2:30 left right now in OT. I would actually get subbed out at the beginning of overtime, but I'd come back in halfway through. 67-64 game. This free throw would be successful as well. You see I have 4 fouls. I have to be very cautious whenever I'm on defense. Give and go action though. Mitchell Drew wide open. Mitch is only shooting 20% for the ball game, but he really is making them when they count. The big man would drop the ball on the pick and roll, and look at Chris Hines flashing some of his athleticism on that slam, soaring up and throwing it down with a thunderous jam. can see the sweat pouring off of him. If you go back and rewind and look closely, Chris Hines exhausted. We're all exhausted. This is our second overtime game of the year, so we've been playing a lot of basketball. Extra basketball, I should say, early on in the year, but just a sliver of space is all these shooters need. Our closeout's becoming a lot less crisp as this game goes on, as there's a lot of tired legs out there. But a big shot, good ball movement there, 71 all. The time would dwindle down to 33 seconds left. The score would remain the same. I'm trying to help. Mitchell Drew actually plays pretty decent defense there. And that big man just blows the layup, as that was a mismatch by about a complete foot. Mitchell Drew only about 6 feet tall. That big man probably somewhere around 7 feet tall. And I try to take it again, but I stop short. Moses Anaganye for the win. That hook shot would be unsuccessful. Going to another fresh 5 minutes of play to see who can finally come out of this alive. 3 minutes left to go in the game. We're down by 3. I get a good closeout on my man right there. But of course, as the issue's been all game long, all season long really, we can't close out that interior when a shot goes up whenever we're on defense. And Mitchell Drew almost turning over the ball there too. But I just say, hey, why not jack it up? As that is a monumental shot right there. I don't know what was going through my head right there. I just took the ball and I just flicked it up there. I got lucky through all the madness that transpired before that. I just managed to get a little bit of open space. But look at this. Where is Chris Hines on defense? Terrible play on defense, and whenever there's smoke, there's fire. Miscommunication between me and Mitchell Drew. I thought he was going to keep cutting, but instead he flashes out to the three-point line, which I don't know why whenever he had a layup. But we do commit a clutch block right there, leading to a layup for Mitchell Drew, so that play washes out. I close out again on my man. A clutch defensive stop right there. 81-79 game. We just need a basket. But look at Mitchell Drew. Almost had a turnover before. This time it is successfully stolen by the Horned Frogs defense, leading to a lob. 4-point game. Backs are against the wall. They're still sticking with that zone. Throw it to Mitchell Drew coming off the screen. Wide open. Can't get that to fall. But Robert Saunders also missing a layup on that same possession. It's still a 4-point game, and we can't allow any more baskets, or else we might as well say goodbye to the win. But look who let up another jump shot. Chris Hines once again. It's an 86-79 game. Mitchell Drew forces up a 3, but this one will rattle home. That's 11 assists for me in the ball game, and I don't give up on the play. I steal the inbounds pass and I bring it out. I see Mitchell Drew on the left, but instead I want to take this to the basket. Throw it inside to Anaganye. We work it in and out, and Chris Hines makes good on that jump shot. So immediately it goes right back to a 2-point game. Robert Saunders gets beat on the back door, but that center does not take the easy layup. Instead, TCU wants to milk more time off the clock. I almost get a steal right there, and Chris Hines, what can I say? An awful defensive showing, biting on yet another pump fake. As I take this all the way, but there's no foul on that. Still couldn't believe I didn't get free throws off that. It feels like I got hacked, and their center would make 2 of 2. 90-84 game. Mitchell Drew trying to stay alive, but this one would rattle out. Big man would make 1, but that's all he really needed. This last desperation 3 would go, making it 12 assists on the game for me. But unfortunately, those stats don't matter whenever you drop a game like this in overtime. We played pretty well on defense. We probably should have fed our big men more because they shot a lot better from the field than the guards did. I had 10 points, 12 assists, 3 steals. On paper, that seems pretty good, right? Well, 7 turnovers. It's tough to be a freshman starting for the first time. You know, you got Mitchell Drew, Chris Hines, Robert Saunders, who does work inside, Moses Anaganye under the basket. It's like, who do I pass to? What plays do I make? What plays do I run? So 7 turnovers, understandable, but inexcusable. So our next game is against the 8-5 Missouri Tigers, who's had a bit of a rough stretch. So if we want to get back in the win column, this is definitely a team to do it against, as they just lost to Missouri, Kansas City, a team who is in one of the smallest conferences in the nation and that still has only managed 5 wins so far. Missouri dropping 2 of their last 3, as I can't get that jump shot to go. But instead of sulking, I put my head down, I run back on defense, and look at that. Force a turnover. So we get that ball right back. Another possession for my team, and that's going to be a big storyline for me in this game. Can I cut down on the 7 turnovers, and can I shoot a lot more efficiently from the field, because 4 of 14 is not going to cut it. And how about this layup right here? I get started off the right foot as I cross over my man, and that layup I can't even believe I put down. But look at that block. Moses Anaganye being the rim protector we need from him, as he stops that lob from being successful. And I also get a screen from Anaganye. So that's a good one too. And this time I just stopped short from the elbow. And I have our team's first 4 points, but a 13-4 run to begin this ball game. My teammates just not cutting it right now on offense. But on defense, we get a stop. And I'm moving up the court, and I throw it down with 2 hands. First 6 points to my name for my team. A job, the defender's not biting on it. He's playing me close too. So I ask for another pick. I throw it in outside to Justin Proctor. Nothing but nylon right there. Quickly, we're down to a minute 15, as that's just a textbook bounce pass. 2 assists for me in this first half. Isaac Ashley dropping in that layup. There's actually some rumors that he might start soon, and one thing I haven't been covering is my rebounding ability. I get one there, and it leads to a jump shot from Mitchell Drew. For a 5'10 freshman, I've actually been rebounding pretty well so far this year. I was our most efficient player in the first half. 6 points, 3 assists, chipping in a steal, and a solid 3 of 6 from the field. 2 turnovers in the first half, not bad. Definitely could improve on that as well. So immediately after, the ref hands the ball to the Missouri Tigers, and they inbound it. On their first possession, Chris Hines loses his man once again, and bad to worse right here. We have some trouble handling this press. Mitchell Drew tries to force it up to me, but unfortunately, it would lead just to a dunk for their other team. Now it's a 32-26 game. That 6-point lead would eventually go to 8, as now another bad pass. And Shaka Smart has to burn a timeout here, because just a pitiful way to begin this first half. Now it's down to 6. I have a big man on me. He's stumbling a little bit. I feel like I can take it on him, but the trap comes, leaving Chris Hines open. Look at that court vision, finding him on the baseline for that solid jump shot. 5 assists for me on the game. I'm trying to weave through the defense. Instead, Moses Anaganye rolls to the rim. Good job moving without the ball. 6 assists now for me in this Missouri Tiger game. Time would quickly come down to 3.5 left. We're still only down by 5, but look at this shot right here. I didn't have too many opportunities in this second half, but it's all about performing whenever your name's called, and I hit a big shot right there. We need to stop on defense, and we get that stop. I get also a big rebound too. 3 for me on the game. I'm running the break. I take it all the way. Nobody stopped the ball, so I just decided to take matters in my own hands and go right to the rim there. 54-53 game. We need another basket, it seems. I get strapped on the baseline. The ball reversal goes around to Chris Hines. No good, but finally we're on the receiving end of a lucky bounce to an offensive rebound. So many times this season it's gone against us, but there we go. Our big guy's working hard down there too. I'm open in the corner, but instead of taking that shot and forcing something, and I do, I find Mitchell Drew on the left wing, and that one looks a little short, but it goes in. How about that? Mitchell Drew with the biggest shot of the game and one of the craziest shooter's touches I've ever seen transpire in the game of basketball, honestly. So we need one stop, and we'll finally close out a close game with us in the win column instead of our opponent. My man tries to pull up in my face, but my good contest would finally be enough. That would suffice. And it seems that we would walk away with a win. Finally, we're back in that win column, that ever-elusive win column for us early on in this season. I finished with 12-7, 2 steals, only 3 turnovers, while shooting 60% from the field. Scoring was pretty balanced overall, but our big men did not have the same success as we did last game. Isaac Ashley, however, he had a good game. Ashley might be in contention for starting a game pretty soon too, as Robert Saunders he'd start to not have the same success as he would early on in the season. But moving on, another game here in Big 12 play. We travel to the Gallagher Arena, and my matchup in this game is a little bit different than any other matchup I've had so far since I've been introduced in the starting five. I'm facing off against Anthony Tucker, a short, stocky, 5'11", 215 point guard who's defensive-minded, and he's one of the better point guards that the Big 12 has to offer. So a tough game for me whenever it comes offensively, but I don't have that mindset. Immediately I come out and I make a layup to put our team on the board. Missed free throw, one of the best times to run in basketball is off a missed free throw, and I put my head down, I don't take it scared to the basket, and there's 2 scores for me early on in this game. Now this comes with me off the court, and I'm just highlighting the crazy run that we went on while I wasn't in the game. You can see the lead swelling up to 15 at this point. I would come back in, but it would be a 13-4 run with me off the court. And immediately when I'm back in, I make my presence felt with an assist down there to the cutting Mitchell Drew. That's my first assist of the game, surprisingly, and this ball reversal would also go to Mitchell Drew right here too. We run a play for him, one of our favorite plays to run, letting him get wide open there with a foot on the line, but all that would matter is that he makes the shot. 30-19 game now. We are controlling these Cowboys right now on their home court. I get the pump fake to go, and I cut across the lane, finish strong over their center too with a right-handed hook shot. Being a little crafty inside there. Can't do the same thing whenever I'm going to the rim as often as I do now. I also get a steal on the defensive side of the ball, and the good point guards always know where the trailer is. Isaac Ashley didn't want to take it, however, even though he was the trailer on that break and he had an opportunity to score, but instead he would score off of this efficient screen I set. It's a 42-25 game here as the clock is winding down. I cross over, I step it back, fade away, and that's good. How about this play? Normally I'm not really an iso ball player like this. You guys already know the drill at this point, but my mid-range shot coming around now, it seems, as I'm a perfect 4 for 4 from the field in this game. All around, our offense has just been crazy good. Not a lot of missed shots, only 1 turnover as a team. 48-27 ball game it would be here, only a minute into our second half of play. I'll kind of just skim over the important plays, the plays relating to me, as I take another layup full court, as this trap for the OK State Cowboys is just not working out very well for him. We run that play on the right, let's run it on the left. Mitchell Drew this time getting behind the 3-point line. We're running these Cowboys out of their own gym right now, as I basically ripped my matchup right there, and I'm taking it strong to the tin. No, I actually looked to Mitchell Drew on the baseline. We're all balling right now. Doesn't matter who it is. People are scoring. Even plays like this, Justin Proctor, that one would go in and out. But an and one for my guy Robert Saunders. Robert Saunders rebounding after a bad performance last game. He put up a double-double in this one. And this is when I got subbed out. Didn't see the court again. Fair enough. It was a blowout. We came in here and took care of business. 12 points for me, but Mitchell Drew was really the guy in charge of our offense. I just made the passes and set the guys up. We really played as a team too. Me, Mitchell Drew, and Chris Hines all recording 5 assists. Now we have one of the biggest games of the year against Texas Tech. Both of these teams could be in the top 25, as Jason Valencia, he looks to be a lottery pick here in this upcoming NBA draft, as he's putting up 19 points per game, second in the Big 12. But speaking of that, let's look at my stats ever since I've been in the starting lineup. 9 points per game, and I'm 4th in the Big 12 in assists as a freshman. Anyway, let's cut to the game film. Jason Valencia, surprise, surprise, getting Chris Hines up in the air with a pump fake, but I really thought I drew the charge there. I got a knee right to the chest, but unfortunately it would be in vain, and I had to take that right on the chin, per se, so to speak. And look at this. I just got shoved on that screen. That's really when there was a lot of times in this game where, let's just say, I really realized that I needed to hit the weight room a little bit. Let's just say that. But I come back and I get my revenge, putting in this layup, getting my man off of the in and out move pretty good, using that screen to perfection. and we would be in the lead right here. 6-point game as I also grab a steal 2 while I'm at it. And I see Chris Hines. He throws that down with a mean left hand. I saw him. It was a 3-on-1. I could have thrown it up to either Mitchell Drew or him, but I chose Hines, and he really made sure this home crowd was getting their money's worth with a show like that. But the Chris Hines show would not stop right there. You don't see it here, but look where he pulls this 3 from that rattles in. Hines' confidence was just off the charts this game. He just comes down the court and throws one up. 15 points at that point. 31-26 ball game. It was really the Chris Hines show here in the first half as I throw another one to him right in the face of the defender. That one swishes home too. And heading into the half, he would have 18 for the game. I only had 1 basket at this point, but hey, I know it's my story, but sometimes it's not about me. All that matters is that we're in the lead in this biggest game of the year, because whoever wins this game probably will be welcomed back into the top 25. So this is a big game for us right here. Be a 7-point game at this point. Chris Hines coming off another screen. We're doing anything we can to get him open. He's got a 20-piece right now. Lead would be up to 9 here, as also a steal would occur. Chris Hines getting it done on both sides of the court, as I would stop and pop there. The 2 players on defense in my face would be to no avail there, as I swish that one through. Lead is up to double digits now, as I'm slashing and throwing it into Mitchell Drew. That's 4 assists for me on the game. 52-43 right now is the score. And I'm popping out. My man actually helped on Moses Anaganye, so I just went out to the wing and found myself wide open. I make good on that one. Mitchell Drew pulling this one from way downtown. The lead going up to 18 now quickly. Another game where we were in control for most of it, as an emphatic win like this may be just what we need to get back in the top 25. I only had 6 and 5, but that's because Hines and Drew were killing it all game long. So I took a bit of a back seat, but you guys know I have no problem with that. I think this win streak is just what we need to propel us forward and get over that slow start that we've had in the beginning of this year. As there was also a Colorado game that I didn't show in there that, of course, we won. Now we're 9-4 in the game, and the moment of truth, yes, we were back in the top 25, and it's not like we scraped in either, we jumped all the way up to number 12. Insane. And now, I'm going to leave you guys. Bringing up next episode, we got a couple big games. We got the Texas A&M game. We have the game in Aggieland. That's our next game right now. And we have a game against Baylor, old rivalry against Oklahoma, and we have to play the number 2 team in the nation now. We faced number 1 earlier in Duke, but the number 2 team in the Kansas Jayhawks. Thanks everyone for your comments, your love, and support. Stay tuned for the next installment of Road to NBA 2K19.